Fat Dag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, Fat Dag.
I am your host, Fat Dag, and you're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, and celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to a very special episode of Wise Advice, episode 217, and you may notice a little bit of a difference in the audio quality. Man, I really hope you do. I noticed it right away. Picked up a brand new microphone for the actual podcast, and I tell you, it's the Shure SM7B, which is, I knew nothing about that, but I Googled it. It says, get this one. I did, and very, very happy with it. I think you'll notice the audio quality is significantly different. One of my favorite features is it doesn't pick up my washer and dryer. It doesn't pick up my air conditioner blowing. It truly just picks up the audio, which is going to make it a much better listener experience for you. So all of you in the Patreon community, those of you who provided the financial support to the show, thank you for that. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for investing in me. And really just thank you for being a part of a community that we're trying to build up of just true support of one another. So those of you who want to take a peek in the show notes, you'll see a link. You can visit the Patreon community in there. And if you're so inclined, you can step up for as little as $1 a month. That's how much this microphone just cost. It was $1 times every single one of you. So thank you so much for that. So I want to open the show with Allie. Allie writes in, she says, "Hello, Mike. This is Allie again from episode 156. I'm not writing to you to explain about how I hit all of my goals from my previous letter. Instead, I'm writing to confess that I haven't done any of the things that I promised myself that I would do. I have not been tracking, have not been following the program, have not been getting in my exercise, and it's all starting to weigh me down. I feel like I'm on this struggle bus that's going 500 miles an hour, and if I jump off, it's game over. But I don't want it to be game over. I want to figure this out and hit my goals. I have a why in mind, but it must not be the why that's going to get me to goal because it's been a year and I haven't lost any weight. Just like you, I'm avoiding the blood test from my doctors because I don't want to see them, and I'm probably diabetic. I discussed this in my last letter that I had gestational diabetes with my son. I never want to go back to that. It was brutal. Listening to the podcast every single day is helping me. I'm currently 5 days without soda. I haven't craved it. I'm super proud of that. I'm still having difficulty with tracking. I don't understand why I find it so hard to just put everything in my tracker. In the world of today's technology, it is really simple to just add it from my phone. I am so over this body that I haven't taken very good care of. It hurts to know that I've done this to myself, and because of the bad habits I now have, I struggle the most with changing my diet. Here's the thing. I know what I need to do. I am really helpful to others for encouraging them in their journey. I just can't get myself to consciously or unconsciously do it for myself. Do you have any advice on how to start those small conscious habits that will one day happen unconsciously? Again, thank you, Mike, for all the work and the effort you do in this podcast and the Operation Fat Dag. It is helping so many people, and I know I would be way worse without the podcast or my meeting room. Well, Allie, thanks for your note. Welcome back to the show. Good to have you back on, and I can certainly let you know one thing pretty quickly. What you're going through, what you're experiencing, what you're feeling is completely normal. That happens so often. I think you're actually in the norm in this stage. And what I want you to know about all this is that, when you say you're feeling like you're on the struggle bus, all you got to do is stand up, pull the cord, ask the driver to let you off on the very next stop. It's kind of that simple. You have to take that mentality and say, I want off this bus. That's what you got to do. I certainly encourage you to get into your doctor's office, check out your blood levels. You never know. They may find something, help you there to help you get back into a healthy mindset, get back into healthy, energy levels, activity levels. All that stuff can be revealed in a simple blood test. I would certainly, of course, I'm not a doctor, so I don't have that kind of advice, but it certainly isn't something you should be putting off and avoiding. You're winning in so many aspects of life. Now, 5 days without soda, you're not craving it, being super proud of that. That is very, very cool. But as we sit here and figure out a way to get ourselves back to tracking, that's kind of probably the number one thing. If we could just figure out how to get people to go, I want to do this again. It does focus on your why. It does focus on you saying, okay, I want to get this done because of this reason. I'm tired of being this. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of this. I want to completely change my life. When you make your mind up, when you say, I actually really, really want to do this, you just simply follow that process. You don't ever have to be perfect on the program. We've talked about that more than once. I don't ask you to say, you need to make sure you track every single thing, every single day, for the rest of your life, never go over, never go negative, never miss anything. That is somewhat a little bit overwhelming for so many people. I know a couple people who were able to do that. Lee in particular shot me a screenshot through Twitter the other day that showed that exact scenario. But that is someone that is dialed in, focused, and he's got a routine. His healthy habits are carrying him all the way through. For many of us, what we have to do is we have to find this balance between autopilot and a forced, mindful way to live. And that's where you're at. So making the promise, making the promises to yourself saying, I'm going to completely change, you have to find things that are small enough to change that it really doesn't feel like you're making the change. It's the attendance goal motto. And that, it's something simple as going for a walk for 5 seconds, 5 minutes every single day, deliberately saying, I am going to get this done, is how you do that. You build on that little bit of a success, and you continue to have that success as you continue to march forward. So it's that saying is, how do you eat an elephant? Is one bite at a time. How do you start tracking again? How do you start making goal again? How do you start enjoying all the things in your life again? You simply do that one simple step at a time. Take something small, take something minor, make a plan for the next month. Track breakfast. Make sure you track breakfast and lunch. And then at some point, make sure you track breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As you start building the healthy habit of opening your app and putting it in, we know the technology piece is actually very simple. This has nothing to do with technology. This has every bit to do with you mentally checked in or you mentally checked out, aligned with your goals and getting it done. The good news is your email to me proves to me that you're interested, that you're on fire, that you're on track, that this is important to you. So continue to use that level of importance, continue to change your life, continue to dial in. You're doing a lot of the right things, and I want you to give yourself credit for all of that. That is how you're going to continue to succeed. And for that, I'm extremely proud of you. Thank you for writing in. Thank you for sharing your email. And let's go ahead and just refocus, recommit back to you and get it done. Thank you for that. Jane writes in and says, well, hi, Fat Dag. First, thank you for your service to our great country. Your courage to step out and take the risk of doing all that you're doing for us. You are allowing me to express my story and hopefully help at least one other person. So, here goes. Deep breath. I've always had a weight problem, and I'm 64 years old. I can still picture myself as a child eating Kilpatrick's bread with real butter while my parents had their cocktail before dinner. I was 8 and 11 years younger than my two brothers. We had a nice home with gardeners, housekeepers, and I lived in a community that our family was well known. You get the picture. I modeled in a charity fashion shows wearing chubettes from the local store. I was not a great student, but I knew people and everything that was going on. I was very intuitive at an early age. So, what was a privileged life came to a halt many times, starting when my father died of liver cancer. I was 19. 4 months later, my mother died. I was planning my wedding and got married 6 months later. My only living grandmother died 3 months later. Moving into a married life, I never stopped to feel. I always had the feeling that if I stopped, I would never get up. So moving forward, I worked, and then we had 2 children. So then I became an at-home mom doing all the kid stuff, which I loved. Now you might ask, what does all this have to do with Weight Watchers? Well, I started with Weight Watchers when I was 16, and I've been in and out, up and down throughout my life. I've been a receptionist in the 80s, became a leader in 2010, left, and finally back about a year ago. I'm leading meetings now and forever. I've survived a lifetime of stuff, and it hasn't always been a straight journey. In fact, to add more, 16 years ago, our son took his life in our family home. I had just lost about 30 pounds the previous year from our daughter's wedding, and let me tell you, that was my flatline moment for me. I had to start dealing with all the fear and the feelings I had stuffed down with food for years. So where do I get to go to feel comfortable? Yep, along with psychiatrists and Weight Watchers, it was a familiar and a safe place. I was also listening to Oprah. She had started the grateful thing. I was so desperate. I took her advice and started trying to feel grateful each day for something. I was holding on for dear life. I had a family that needed me and a community that was rooting for me to make it. Who was I to lay down and not get up and keep going? God had a plan. He was using me. I would chat with him and say, seriously, God, I'm not that strong. Can't you use someone else? Why my family? We're good people, giving back, following the rules. But I guess he had other plans. Anyway, isn't it funny that Oprah, who wasn't even a part of Weight Watchers back then, and here she is today getting us to think, feel, and do. Now when I have the popcorn thoughts while heading to the refrigerator, I have to bring myself back and practice this powerful tool. I just love that Weight Watchers has given us this great gift. This is a powerful tool. I love my members, my coworkers, and Weight Watchers for continuing to evolve in such positive ways. I'm so lucky to not deprive myself with food. I now get to play with my grandkids and have a job I love showing up to. Look what I've missed out on if I had just let life keep me down. Hard work, my friends, especially when you don't want to show up for yourself, let alone the people that need you. Oh, the places you'll go, says Dr. Seuss. So get up and get going. You can do this. And always remember, you never know who you are impacting in your life. See you in San Francisco. I am so excited, and thank you. Enjoy the day, Jane. Jane, what an amazing ride, and you continue to inspire and prove that this is absolutely doable despite everything else that's going on in your life. And first and foremost, I want to acknowledge 16 years ago, your son, and I'm sorry to hear that, and I can't even imagine what that must be like, what that must feel like, how that completely rocks your family. So from the whole community, I'm sure I share in that with you and say that we're sorry to hear about that. But what I'm proud to hear is that is not a defining moment in your life. That is a moment in your life where you now understand that the rest of this life is up to you, and you're going to take control, and you're going to continue to lead and inspire others, and you're absolutely doing that. And so I want to absolutely congratulate you on having amazing success and amazing strength to get through a period of time that so many of us wouldn't even attempt to get through. And so great job doing that. What a fun childhood growing up. I having that privileged life. I think, in a lot of ways, many of us always think that the grass is always greener, right? And to hear that necessarily isn't always true, and then to lose your mom and dad early on too. Again, it just continues to prove now as you are so much further beyond that in your season of life that you're just a complete rock star and winning despite all of the challenges that have given you. And so that is the kind of the message I want to harp on here, is that with all these things, you wouldn't wish these things upon anybody, but instead what you've done is you've taken them and you've used them as a way to completely change your life, and you've turned it around, and you now continue to give back to other people. And, being a Weight Watcher meeting and being a thing that you say, hey, I want to make sure other people, no matter how they're struggling, no matter what's going on in their life, I want to make sure that I'm there for them. That's what you've signed up to do. And so that's the amazing part of your journey. And when you think about that for just a moment, You think about, how much easier is it to just completely quit? It's beyond easy to make the simple action, and then life becomes very hard at that point on. What you did is you took that first step of making it hard initially, and now you continue to inspire others and do so much great work for other people. I can't wait to see you in San Francisco. November 10th, we'll be out there. You're excited. I'm excited. There's about 150 other people who are truly excited as well. Your quote is awesome. It says, "Look what you've missed out at had you let life keep you down." I think that kind of sums up your entire email, is that you understand that these things that happened in your life certainly were changing, certainly were devastating, but at that point you said, you know what, I can move past this. That's where your success is. That truly shows your incredible strength and love for every other person on the planet, and I'm proud of you for that. So Jane, thank you so much for writing in and for your email. At Colorado Springs, Becky writes in. She says, "Dear Fat Dag, I just finished listening to episode 215. I'm sitting in my living room crying. I've been feeling kind of lost lately, and your responses to Judy's email were directed just to me. Continue to work the program and do not quit. If the scale isn't moving in the direction that you want, that's okay at times. It's okay to just learn and to take notes and just really figure it out. The reality is that isn't quitting. If the scale doesn't give you what you want, but you are still checking in with that data point, you are still committed to doing it. We just have to figure out what it is for you." My story, well, at least the highlights, or maybe the lowlights, is this. I grew up in a happy and active home. We camped, we hiked, we skied, we swam, we kayaked. Well, we just got out and enjoyed everything the great outdoors had to offer together as a family. I have a wonderful relationship with my parents and my siblings. My sisters are all best friends. That world kind of glitched when I was a senior in high school, when my dad left my mom for my stepmom. That is when it became evident that I'm an emotional eater. I gained 50 pounds, but I was able to easily lose them with my first year of college as I sorted out the whole situation in my heart and my mind. While in college, I had the amazing opportunity to move to Europe and work. While there, I met this great guy. He was a Marine on embassy duty in Paris. We met in a restaurant. It was a dark time in Paris as there was a lot of terrorist activity. People attached to the embassy were assassinated. There were lots of bombings. It was pretty crazy. We still managed to have a lot of fun. And my guy and I would meet for long runs along the Seine River almost daily until he was sent to another embassy in Africa. Our relationship moved to a long-distance one. I had the opportunity to visit him there, and that is where we were engaged. I returned home to plan the wedding, and we had a chance to move to yet another embassy in South America, where they lost several people from the embassy in a horrible plane crash. During that time, things changed for us. It was like there was a wall that was there that hadn't been there before. I chalked it up to the long distance, and, well, I was wrong. We got married, I got pregnant with our first child, he deployed, repeat with the second child, add in several moves, and third child, and toss in a war. Add in the embassy he served in Africa being bombed, and people he knew dying yet again. Add in children 4 and 5, and a recall to the military for another war. He was stressed all the time, and very overprotective of the kids and I. He was dealing with a severe case of PTSD, and I didn't even know what that was at the time. He turned on me. Life was a living hell, and I ate to comfort myself. We had gotten sucked into a small, crazy cult run by a man that preyed on Marines. He would manipulate through the mentality that they have to follow orders, to go out there against all odds and take that hill. The leader continually reinforced that everything was my fault. If I were only a better wife and a person, my spouse would be different. I was told if I left him, I would never get my kids. The constant verbal abuse from my spouse finally moved to a physical abuse, which is when I finally reached out beyond what I had become, the very small world of the cult, in my home to my mom and my sister for help. Reaching out was the catalyst to changing everything. It ended up with us having to leave the cult, moving to a new town, and starting again. By this time, I'd reached my highest recorded weight of 286 pounds. As we adjusted to our new life, we met people who encouraged my guy to get help from the VA. As we sorted things out and began to become my family again, I started on my health journey. I managed to lose 50 pounds on my own, but became complacent and gained back 10. I decided to jump into Weight Watchers because I had to face a real live person to weigh in. I needed the accountability. I was happily moving along with my journey, and I reached 69 pounds lost. Well, to backtrack a little, 2.5 years ago, my guy lost his post-military job of 20 years. As time went on, he wasn't able to find a new job. He sank into a really deep depression, and his PTSD was triggered. This time, he turned on himself. There were times he was so deeply depressed that he was close to suicidal. I remember one day spending hours talking with him, helping him understand I was there for him, that I valued him. I know if I hadn't been there to encourage him, he wouldn't be here today. He has always cared for our finances and done an amazing job. I was absolutely shocked in April to find out that we were 3 months behind on our mortgage and looking at a foreclosure on our home. Although we had amazing friends offer to pay our mortgage to catch it up, without his job, we wouldn't be able to keep it up. So the difficult decision was made to quickly sell the house and move to a state with a better economy and start over. So, as of July, here we are. He already had a job. We had settled into a small apartment. Things are so much better. But I'm still struggling with missing a job that I adored, my friends of many years, my kids that are still at home, my church, my Weight Watcher meeting. Well, just everything. We are in the state we planned on retiring in, the state I grew up in, so I feel like I'm at home, but I'm having a hard time adjusting. I've lost focus, and I've regained 10 pounds. I guess that is why your words spoke so much to me. You helped me realize that I need time to just adjust to this new normal, to learn, to really figure it out. It is okay, and I haven't quit. I revisited my why today, and I want to be here for my kids as long as I can be because I know how much I treasure the wisdom and love of my parents. I want to be able to play with my grandkids when they come along. I don't want a future of medications and inactivity. I want to go skiing. I know downhill is out because of an old knee injury, but I would love to go cross-country skiing again. I just want to enjoy all that great outdoors has to offer for the rest of my life. I know this is long. Pretty sure it's way too long to share on the air, but I just felt compelled to write to you. If you can use any part of this to help someone else, please feel free to do. Mike, thank you for all that you do. I love how you just keep on pointing out the way. It makes it so much easier to understand this journey and keep on through the dark times. Thank you for teaching me that I don't have to be perfect in this messy thing that we call life. I just have to consistently make the better choices. There is so much freedom in that thought. I know that I will get there if I just don't quit. Thank you for being my inspiration, Becky. Becky, that is the truth, right? You just can't quit. I want to harp in the middle, or I want to go to the middle of your email. The piece that really, really, really stuck out to me was when you said, reaching out was the catalyst to changing everything. Now that sentence alone, we can apply to so many different areas in our life. And so what happens is when we reach out, if there's no one there to answer the call, then it doesn't work. That's what this community that we've built here has done. When you reach out into this community, someone answers the call every single time. Someone answers the post. Someone answers the text. We are there for each other. So you have proven through a series of lives' ups and downs that reaching out is the piece. It's the hardest thing that any of us can ever do. And when we do reach out, we kind of expect someone there to help us and to just nothing more than just listen. And so that's why I shared your entire email, because I know everything you've gone through can resonate somewhere, somehow with someone else. You've reached a 69-pound weight loss throughout all of that. Take some time right now. For your entire life, it sounds like you have been the caregiver. You have been the person that's kind of holding this whole thing together, juggling the kids, juggling, your Marine husband's PTSD. Thank him so much for his service for us, by the way. But you're juggling all that, and you're carrying that entire burden yourself. And what I want you to do is I want you to now understand that it doesn't have to be that way in that sense. You have an amazing support system. You have whether it be in your family, whether it be with your spouse, your kids, you are all there and you're all in this together. Everything that he's been through has completely shaped his life, but it had now an opportunity to shape your life. What I want you to do is I want you to celebrate your 69-pound weight loss. I want you to know that you did that for you. That was something that you took action, you took deliberate steps. Amidst everything that's going on in your life, you found a way to do that. Now, clearly moving, into a new state, moving into a new apartment, all of the surprises that you've been under recently, I get that. Maybe you've lost a little focus. You were focused on surviving. And if you saw my post the other day talking about goal shifting and goal setting, you had a different priority for that time. You had a priority of survival. That priority of survival took over and you survived. And now what I want you to do is I want you to say, okay, I did that. I'm still down, 59 pounds, which is an amazing weight loss. Diane screams in from Facebook, said that's an amazing weight loss. I agree. So here's where we are. You haven't lost the battle. You're still knee deep in this. You're still doing everything that you need to do. Take a moment to pause as life now comes back into routines, as life now starts to get a little more normal for you. That's when you get back into the things that you got towards yourself to get yourself 69 pounds down. You didn't do that on accident. You found deliberate ways to make that happen through what we call a living hell, and you made it work. So clearly, as things settle down, you're going to find opportunities to make it even smoother and better. And I have no doubt that although your life is messy, it certainly doesn't have to be perfect. And just consistently make the better choices that just keep going and keep doing that. Check in every day. Check in the Wise Wingman community. Check in with the group and get it done. So, Becky, congratulations. And just take the time that you need for you. That's what I want to end your email with. I want you to celebrate you. I want you to focus on you. I want you to put you first. That's what I want you to do and take care of you. So, Becky, thank you so much for your email. Very, very proud of you. All that you've been through and the strength that you've shown to continue to win anyways is truly inspiring. Next up, Jennifer writes in, says, well, hi, Mike. I've written this email 1,000 times. It's time to just send it. I deleted a lot. It's just impossible to share the whole journey. It seems a bit long, so share what you'd like, and thanks again. Well, I did it. I made it to Lifetime. I still can't believe it. I want to start by saying thank you. It's not often that you come across someone so genuine, so caring, so committed to helping others. You, my friend, are all these things and more. And I'm so blessed to know you. And now, my story. I first walked into a Weight Watchers meeting 14 years ago. At the time, I had a newborn daughter, and I had recently a herniated disc in my back, losing all the feeling in my left leg and resulting in 9 months of physical therapy. I hadn't worn my wedding ring in over 5 years, and I was desperate for help. Like many, I was overweight all my life. As a child, I was shy and insecure. I loved sports, but I didn't play because I was afraid of what people might think. I was in the marching band, and all I remember is how embarrassed I was to be in front of people. While in college, I tried a liquid diet and didn't eat anything for 9 months. I lost a lot of weight, but it came back when I started to eat normal food again. My parents have fought this battle their whole lives. I've seen firsthand how being severely overweight can impact your health. My dad, a Navy veteran, has missed so many wonderful things in his life, like going to events or on vacation with his grandchildren, because he has been bedridden for 15 years due to weight-related health issues like diabetes. My mother is an angel, a nurse, and spends her life caring for her husband. Almost 2 years after joining Weight Watchers, as I was approaching my goal weight, I was given the opportunity to take a work assignment in Slovakia. So this Austinite, who'd never been out of the country, packed up her 2 young kids and her husband and moved to another country. Over the next 2.5 years, I gained about 40 pounds. There was not a Weight Watchers meeting in the country, and the food was very different. I joined a few times after returning, but I struggled to make progress. Then, about 2.5 years ago, I joined once more. This time with my good friend and with one of the first Weight Watcher leaders I'd ever met. About a year after I joined back, my wingman and my friend from work joined, and we started coming every other week together. I continued to make progress slowly. I learned to live a healthy and fit life during the normal weeks when I had more control, and also on the international work trips or vacations or weekends. I would not have been successful without the support of my tribe. My advice to everyone out there on this journey is to just keep going. When you fall down, pick yourself back up and keep going. I am so very thankful. I will continue to be there for all of you. Weight Watchers has taught me so much more than how to eat in a healthier way. It has taught me the power of community, positive thinking, mindfulness, and self-kindness. It's not always been an easy road, but if you understand your why, you will ultimately reach your destination. Most sincerely, Jennifer, Jeepers TX44 on Connect, Team Lifetime. I love saying that, down 76 pounds. Jennifer, congratulations. Welcome to Team Lifetime. 76 pounds. Incredible focus. You cannot do that by accident. You cannot simply wake up one day and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm down 76 pounds. I have no idea how that happened. 76 pounds, doesn't matter how long it is. Doesn't matter that it's been 14 years ago. What matters is you figured out that what you had to do was get it done. And you did that. I understand the frustration being so close to goal and then taking on an amazing job assignment in Slovakia, how your focus changed during that period of time. It makes perfect sense to me. A new opportunity to take on a bigger role with a company, you have to then at some point prioritize that up there pretty high. And it's very hard to make you the priority at the exact same time if you haven't previously established good routines. What happens now is that now you have amazing routines and you have amazing things set in place that now this move wouldn't impact you the same way. And that is the greatest success in this entire email, is that you now have figured out that no matter what else is going on, you can juggle this because you are on Team Lifetime. You just said, I figured it out. And so, I just never quit. That's the success. And just make progress slowly. I think so many times I had another email in my box that's going to be on one of the future episodes. And someone was telling me, how the program wasn't working and how this wasn't working. And they were down 27 pounds and didn't understand why the program wasn't working. And so I think so many times we want to walk into the gym and we want to lose 76 pounds with one workout and walk back out. You think about, so many times walking, in the previous email, or you said in college, that you tried the liquid diet and didn't eat anything for 9 months. Sure, you lost a ton of weight. But so if you were able to continue that liquid diet for the rest of your life, you would have maintained that weight. The reality is as life continues to evolve, a liquid diet is certainly not something you're going to want to do for the rest of your life. So we have to figure out the way to balance our entire life. And when you do that properly, generally speaking, the slower you lose weight, the better off you're going to be, because what happens is you are building healthy, happy habits, and you're changing it so slowly that the weight loss is slow as well, but you're making the changes that are actually permanent. That's what you're teaching yourself here. That's what you learned here, is that by you not quitting, by you just working this program and just never really, ever really giving up on it, you can have the success. And so 76 pounds is an incredible effort. It's incredible weight loss. You have to feel amazing. You have to feel completely different. I know you do. And, it's obviously you and I get a chance every once in a while to talk on the phone. And it's so fun to have those conversations. I can just hear the excitement in your voice. I can hear a brand new person who just is so full of life. And so just everything is just awesome to hear that and to see that. And so I'm very, very, very proud of you. And so congratulations on hitting your goal. And just congratulations on making Team Lifetime. And just thank you for always being there for me and for the entire community. Keep up the amazing work. Let's get out there and let's celebrate this thing. I put a post the other day on Connect, and one of the things I said is that, when we celebrate, we have to find ways to celebrate that align with our current new goals. If we celebrate the same way we celebrated our old life, that's where we start getting into trouble. The way we celebrated in our previous life is what usually led us to that previous life. So Celebrate in a good way and get it done. Folks, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the Wise Advice Podcast link. Send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. You can email in at onair@fatdag.com. I want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you've been through. What matters is where you are today. What you've been through doesn't define you. What you've been through does not define your future. You've heard in this entire episode, there's some people there are things we wouldn't wish on our worst enemy, and you find people who've made it through that. That's why I want you to email it. And other people need to know that past life does not have to dictate where our future is headed. That's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.